Aloha offline sharks.
There it is.
Welcome to the Aloha Friday Marketing Jam Session. I'm Tom Gaddis. I got my business partner and best friend, Nick Ponte, on the call here as well, who will soon be visiting me in Vegas. I can't wait.
That's right.
You're going to tear this town up, probably burn it to the ground.
The city of sin.
They better start building up reinforcements. They don't know what's headed their way. Yeah. Awesome. We have a fantastic live show lined up for you guys today. We've got a special guest that we're going to bring out here in a few minutes. We also are going to be talking about taking a bite out of sales, right? Did I get that right, Nick?
Yeah.
Taking a bite out of sales. Yeah. How to streamline the sales process, make it easier, mainly by what you offer, not by crazy sales tactics. So you guys are going to love it. I'm going to go ahead and cue the intro because we want to get into this and get to our guests as soon as possible. We'll see you back here in just a few momentos.
Ready for the fastest 60 minutes of strategies and tactics to build your remote business from anywhere in the world? It's now time, the moment you've been waiting for. After 167 agonizing hours, they've returned. Now, back for a brand new Sharks Live show. It's your hosts, the Offline Sharks, Tom Gaddis and Nick Ponte.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. A little applause, Nick. It's really great. Man, I was so cold. I had to put this this little sweater on because I was like, it's chilly here today. It's like 38 degrees.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to get a little change in the weather forecast. I mean, today.
Were you guys having a blizzard?
It's snowing right now. There's going to be a blizzard tomorrow. I don't know if you can see.
Wow. It. Yeah, I see that. That's great.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna, before I go to Vegas, I'm gonna go to Austin for probably about a month, 3 weeks. I'll be in Austin. I'm excited to check that place out. I've never been before. I've heard good things, but
Austin's nice.
Yeah, but I'm also excited to come check you out in Vegas.
Vegas is really nice too. It is. It's really nice. So awesome. We have a great show. We have a guest. I'm not going to reveal who our guest is yet, but we do have a couple things we want to do before we bring them out. One is every live show, we like to celebrate the wins from the week before in our community. Today is no different. We want to do our Shark shout outs where we celebrate closed deals, people who went out, took some action, got some money, and we love to give them a shout out, celebrate what they're doing. If you want to help them celebrate as well, you can go to this URL that you see on your screen right here, offlinesharks.com/shoutouts. You're going to see the shout out post there, and just go in the comments and say, hey, great job, way to go. And at the end of the stream, we'll pull a few people out and give them some money. Yes, everybody wins, right?
Yep. We do this every stream, by the way, for those of you
that do, yeah. So head to offlinesharks.com/shoutouts, put some comments in there and leave them. Oh, somebody said it's 10 degrees in Toronto.
Damn.
Drew says, I have a new show in Vegas. Yes. I'm taking over the strip, Drew.
Are we going to go to a magic show while I'm out there?
We will go to a magic show while you're out here.
All right.
I'll pick a good one.
That's what I'm looking forward to most, is going to a magic show with Tom.
Well, did Sloan tell you I finally found our inn to absinthe?
Oh, really?
So one of the guys I hang out with, his sister-in-law works there.
Well, just so everybody knows, he's not talking about taking actual absinthe. He's
yeah. No,
just so you all know, don't worry.
It's a show, yeah. It's a show at Caesar's Palace.
Yeah,
it's like
we're not doing any Eastern European drugs or anything like that.
Yeah, no, it's actually a show. But it's a really great one. You guys, you guys are gonna like it. So anyway, I'm checking into the tickets. I had Miranda text Sloan. So yeah,
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we'll go to a magic show too. That'll be fun. All right, awesome. Let's get to the shout outs. So I'm going to share my screen here and check this out. We had some good shout outs, and I don't even know. I saw.
Yeah, we do. Look at those shout outs.
Yeah, I saw another one, though, that I don't even think is on here.
Man, we have had some heat going on in this Facebook group the last week. I mean,
people have been bringing the fire.
Deal after deal. I was like, I went on my Instagram and I started posting these stories of just everyone that has been sharing their wins in the group. I actually started taking screen captures and tagging. Well, I haven't tagged anybody because nobody follows me on Instagram, but I started just shouting it out because I wanted everybody to know that it's real, you know? And when I started grabbing those screen captures, it was like an endless opportunity. It was like one after one after one, like just deals being closed. So yeah, very, very, very proud of everybody in here. And it's no surprise we have a few of our remote millionaires on that list too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and if you guys aren't following Nick on Instagram, go do that.
Yeah, and go follow Tom too. You should go follow Tom.
You think Nick? You think you have not very many followers? You should see mine.
Right.
Yikes!
And as we all know, like overall happiness and general well-being in life is really a direct correlation to how many followers you have on Instagram, right?
Yes, absolutely. Right before he came on this stream, Miranda said, "Hey, go hand me my computer," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, I'm a celebrity. You hand me stuff. I don't hand you stuff.
That's funny. Yeah, our Instagrams are very basic, right? Mine is at Nick Ponte. Tom is at Tom Gaddis. You'll find us.
Yeah, you'll find us. Awesome. So, all right, let's get into these shout outs because we've got some good ones here. So first up is Bruce Mayo. Bruce got a payment for services, hit his account on Monday while he was on one of our remote millionaires trainings, which was really awesome. It was a little over $1,200 deal. So $1,279. I think it was for a website project, right?
Yeah, he had a couple deals being closed.
Yeah, well, I think he's one I saw today that was like another win. But anyway, with what he's got going on, he's also brought on his first VA to help with fulfillment, which is awesome. So congratulations, Bruce. Great to see that. A shout out to Marvin. Marvin signed up a current client for SitePop. I don't know if you guys saw that training we did last week. $299 setup and $199 a month for 3 months, which is awesome. And he closed a deal for a 3-page site for a caterer, $599 plus $199, Google Business Profile, and $69 a month. That's a good one. Let's see who's next. Let's do Darren. Darren scored 2 more site builds this week, $2,500 between the two.
Wow.
Yeah, so lots of website things there.
I like to see the bullet points by everyone's names. Not one deal, but 2 deals. Multiple deals closed in the same week.
Yeah, it's really awesome to see that. Cody, current SEO client, doubled her total spend to $1,600 plus a month for the next 6 months. Congratulations, Cody. That's an awesome one. I want to get Nick. Nick made the list. So I saw this one when it came through. They secured another SEO deal at the agency. It's going to bring in $1,750 a month in recurring revenue.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And that was a surf lesson company teaching surf lessons. We tend to get a lot of those for whatever reason. But yeah,
well, you know, it's interesting you mentioned the search because that's what it was. Bruce closed a deal for a rugby team. Did you see that?
What?
He's doing a website for a rugby team.
Wow.
Like they've had a website up and it's in, you know, so many people out there that can use our services that we don't think of, right? Like who would have thought of a rugby team? And I remember there was a place in Kihei. I did a website for them. They were like the, what was it? It wasn't soccer. They were like handball or something. It was like, they had a club. They were like a little handball club or something like that. And like, they hired me to build a website for them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it is really interesting. And even, you know, being here in New York, just kind of like networking with people that are, you know, very ambitious. When I talk to them about what I do, it doesn't really matter what industry other people are in. When you talk to them about marketing, their ears perk up, right? Like regardless of what they do, they could be a doctor, they could be a dentist, they could be, you know, they could have a restaurant. We have this ability to work with basically everybody because we're in the business of attention, exposure, leads, and every business needs that. So it's funny. Like I've had two job opportunities come across my desk, I guess, since I've been here now, which I wouldn't take, right? Because the freedom from doing what we all do is so amazing. But still, it's interesting that like all you have to do is talk about what you do to people that are business owners or CEOs, and they're immediately like, can you come do that for us? Can you do that for us?
Yeah, it's so funny that you mentioned that because I've had 4 people reach out to me this week that are like, hey, I want to sit down and talk to you about what you do. I heard it has something to do with marketing. And like, I really want to bounce some things off you and have some stuff. That's like crazy.
Man,
crazy.
We're in high demand these days, Tom. High demand.
Yeah. Hey, our last shout out goes to Daniel Lesser. Daniel picked up his first SEO client, 150 pounds a month. So that's 201 American dollars plus 10% of sales. So he gets a commission. So congratulations, Daniel. And Daniel and Bruce both are part of our Remote Millionaires program. So awesome to see them on the board.
Yeah. And I mean, Dan has been just a great example of somebody that's taken action from Jump Street, right? As soon as he came in, he started just going through the motions, and we've seen him continue to build and grow. And it's been really cool. And so now getting his first recurring deal, I mean, that's a milestone for sure.
Yeah, it was great to see him get the recurring SEO client too, because he's been doing a lot of website. Yep. Like he's been doing a lot of like pre-sold websites where he builds them and then goes and sells them, which he's been really doing a nice job with. So awesome. Cool. Great to see that. And let me look at the notes here because I always like to keep this. So just so you guys know, for those of you that are keeping track at home, that's a combined total of $17,305 in closed business. That's based on the data shared by the Sharks. That brings us to a grand total since the start of 2022. So since January 1, our Sharks have generated $51,053 in closed business. So really, really awesome.
We're not even a full month in yet. Hey,
I know we haven't even have a full month. It's awesome. Great to see.
Throw some likes on the stream if you love that. I mean, that's amazing. Like we haven't even gone through the entire month yet. And it's a huge number.
Yeah, it is really, really great. When I see that number,
I don't know about you, but I feel good.
I don't know. Just play a little something there. Okay, it's going off the rails. We need to let's bring it back in. Tom's
about to like throw his jacket off, throw up his Bitcoin address and start accepting tips.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to, one other thing we need to do before we bring out our guest is every week we also select a member of the week, right? Member of the week. We've got these, you can see here, we've got these awesome Offline Shark swag treasure chest boxes. We send one of these packed full of goodies to our member of the week. And we won't tell you what's inside. It's a surprise. And thanks to everybody who's gotten one, keeping the contents a surprise.
We actually didn't even plan it to be that way, though. And it just
no, we did not.
Everybody, just so everybody knows, everybody in the community decided to take it upon themselves to keep what's in there a secret. Like that just happened somehow.
That wasn't our plan. Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't our plan. So we send one to a member of the week each week. And this week we have an awesome member of the week. I'm going to pull this. Here, hold on. Well, let me make this a little bigger because
my eyes are bad,
Well, if I don't do it, you'll see the answers to the Cash App questions, and we don't want that.
Oh, yeah, that's not
we
good.
do not want that, right? Okay, so here we go. I'm getting it all organized here. Here's our member of the week. Our member of the week is, and I was excited to see this, Mr. Randy Bett.
Yes.
So Randy has been steadily sharing what's working for him, new discoveries, and just inspiring others in the group. It's been really awesome to watch. Randy has been a shark for quite a while, and he always brings a ton of value. And that's what being member of the week is all about, right? Like we're looking for people that are good stewards of our community, that are contributing, right? That are participating, that are helping other members out and sharing what's working, what's not working, just being a good part of the community. So congratulations, Randy. Somebody from the team's going to reach out to you and we'll get you that Shark Swag treasure box sent to you. Oh, nice. And I didn't do the applause. So we got to do the applause. Yeah.
I'm excited for that. I'm stoked for Randy to get the treasure chest. I don't know did anybody see that video that Randy shot earlier in the week about the AC company that he has been generating calls for. I think he said he had somewhere in the wheelhouse of 70 to 100 calls in the last month that he generated for an AC company, which, I mean, that's a huge number of calls. That's an amazing number of calls, which, I mean, I'm stoked. I'm stoked for him. And like you said, Tom, Randy's been in our ranks for quite some time. And yeah, so if you could tag him, everybody, if you could tag Randy, give him a shout out, especially if you saw that video, let him know you saw the video, keep him motivated, keep him going. He really is a great member of this community. Well deserved. Yeah.
And Randy, he's got a lot of great knowledge too on building a team and all that stuff. He's been doing that for a while.
He really does.
Cool. Fantastic. All right. Let me go back in here. We'll have the current comment. Should we bring out our guests, or do you want to give away a little money first?
Well, let's hold off on the money. Cause I mean, speaking about, hundreds of calls or 90
I don't know. You've got
$17.50
in your pocket right now. It's probably burning a hole from that new client. We need to get rid of some of that,
Oh, I thought you meant like $17.50. Yeah, we'll get to that. Well, I was just thinking, in the spirit of generating clients and more leads, this is exactly what we're going to be talking about. We have one of the top lead generation specialists, I would say. I mean, how long have we known this guy for now? Well, we've known about him for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of his products from before I even had an agency.
He's kind of a legend. You guys know who we're talking about?
Anybody want to hazard a guess?
First person to get our guest gets a Cash App prize.
Can anyone diagnose who it is? Oh, that was a clue.
Oh,
Jacqueline, look at that. Right out of the gates.
Nice. Jacqueline got it.
Yeah, right out of the gates.
And I'm excited to bring him out because, I know he's had an agency for quite some time, and there's a lot of the things that he does that is really it's very unique. It's very different. It's very refreshing. And, anytime you can do something to kind of interrupt the pattern, because people see a lot of patterns, right? People get emails all the time with the same old swipes, the same old prospect. I mean, how many times have we all got hit up with the the email asking somebody that does guest posts or SEO or whatever, right? Like, we get hit with thousands of those. But anytime you can have a pattern interrupt and do something unique and do something different, I think that's truly amazing. And so, I think what Ben does is usually always something along those lines, very unique, very different. And that's why he has so much success with what he does. So let's bring him out.
Yeah. Well, before we do that, I just want to say real quick, like, I totally agree with what you said there too. But what I really like about what he's been doing recently is, we're talking about closing more sales, but not in the way that most people talk about it, right? Where they talk about getting better at handling objections all of that stuff is important, but Ben really has put together a model and a strategy where you don't need great salespeople to be successful, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good point to remember. Like, there are two types of models you can have. One is, you go out, you find people, and you have a great salesman to sales them. The other one is putting a process and a system in place so that you don't have to have great salespeople. You can just have okay people and they get, extra great results. And that's what I think is what's really impressive about what he's doing. And when you combine the two, like, you can just knock it out of the park. So
I like that route. That sounds a lot better.
Yeah. Let's bring him out. What's up, Mr. Ben Atkins?
How you guys doing?
Hey.
I always love being here so much, to the point where I have almost put together a campaign. It's almost done, where I have just lobbied to bring me onto the show every week. It's just kind of where I want to be. I just love it so much. And I love this crew, and it's always so fun. So thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah. Awesome to have you.
So yeah, the process. You guys were saying, and it's funny you guys say this. It's like, I remember very early on just being like, dude, you don't know what you're doing. Because I fancy myself as folksy, not smooth.
Yeah.
So the secret to everything I have ever done since I got into teaching this stuff is I just taught what people were using on me when I was way back in the chiropractic office. And that was, I think that's the thing. You get a perspective of, when you're in a brick and mortar, you get a perspective of like, oh my gosh, like, I'm getting pitched all the time. like just all the time.
Wait,
like,
are you pitching me?
Yeah, and it's just like it's really, out of everybody that comes through your your world and your office, it's this small group of people that you're just like, you don't realize they pitched you until a week later, and you're like, that was genius. I was so smart, and I felt good about the whole process. And you're like, that's how it's done. And so, like, everything that I've ever done that's worked has been something that was used on me at one point, and it made me feel good. It made me feel like this didn't feel salesy. This didn't feel weird. I didn't feel like I was being taken advantage of. I felt like I was a part of something bigger than myself. And so, yeah, like I would love to tell you that I'm really good at this stuff, but I think it more comes back to I just pay attention to people a lot smarter than me, and then I just do what they do. So I think that's the secret, right?
That's a good point. Yeah. And you actually, I mean, you had a chiropractic practice, right?
Yeah.
And you started out, correct me if I'm wrong, doing marketing for that business. And then, I mean, once you started getting momentum there, I mean, how did that happen?
So I'm in the chiropractic office, and real quick, you realize that there's 5 other chiropractors in town and nobody cares about you, and you have to stand out in some way. And I've said this a million times. My first week on Friday, like it's probably 2:30, 3 o'clock on a Friday, my first week. Nobody come through the door. I didn't expect anybody to come through the door, but nobody had actually come through the door. Nobody had accidentally stopped to even ask for directions. So, I was just like, okay, it's a setup week. And at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, my accountant comes in, and I feel like it was a pity visit, but he spent some money with me. And I was just like, okay, we're going to have to do something a little bit better here. So, I was lucky enough that I had run into, probably like you guys, I just like happened onto a couple of online marketers, and I started really paying attention. When you're not busy, you have time to learn. And so I started really embracing kind of a lot of the stuff. And, you guys talk about like SEO clients that the Sharks are getting, and like, you guys don't even understand how important that was for me early on, that I understood I got a domain name that says this, so I'm going to maybe at that point rank a little higher. That does it. It's all changes. But like at that time, I understood 3 things about SEO that I did that put me in a position to get customers, and having a website that looked a certain way, having a Facebook page that looked a certain way. It was amazing to me how those tiny little things that you could do on the internet gave you an advantage. And so I got to do some of that stuff. And pretty quickly, I think it was like 6 months, I had a practice that was just as big as these guys that have been there 20 years. And I was like, there's something to this. I really need to make sure that we continue to lean into it. And before long, I thought I was a chiropractor for the rest of my life, which I loved. I loved being a chiropractor. But before long, I looked up and I realized I had a lot of other businesses in town that were like, hey man, can you come help us? And, they wanted to pay me. And I was like, sure, I got a little spare time. I'll take some time. And before I knew it, I looked up and I had an agency. And I didn't call it that. I just had people that were paying me to do stuff that I thought was fun, and it worked for me. And then, I looked up a little bit later and realized I had a bigger agency than I had a chiropractic office, even though the chiropractic office was doing pretty good. So I brought in another chiropractor to help me. And then one day I looked up and realized, oh, you're a digital marketer. You're not a chiropractor. And that's kind of how it worked for me. So, yeah.
Look at this, Ben. Somebody, I don't know who it is, but they said that you turned them on to digital agency ideas 5 years ago.
Nice. That's
Wow.
amazing. I love it. Well, that's awesome.
That is,
I absolutely love that.
That's incredible. Oh, go ahead, Tom.
Oh, I was just gonna say. Well, I know one of the reasons that we wanted you to come on the show this week is because we wanted to talk about this new strategy that you have. We've been talking about it in our emails, right? The microservice thing. And what appeals to me about this and why I was excited to have you on to talk about this today is because I'm a big believer in, like, if just what you said in the beginning, look for other people having success and then do that, right?
Yep.
An even better way to do that is look for people in a different business model
Yes.
What are they doing? And then bringing that into your business model, right? And it usually works the same. And that's exactly kind of what you've done with this microservice thing, right? Like you're modeling the.
There was two things that when I actually, like, one day you wake up and you realize you're not a chiropractor, you're, a digital marketer, you're an agency owner. And I was like, well, I guess I better figure out what this actually means. I mean, I got money coming in, but I actually should, I should really try to do this thing in a big way. And so I kind of looked at some things, and I did some things that a lot of people said, well, this is how you do it, that you guys know the drill. Everybody here knows the drill. A lot of the people out there are not Nick and Tom. They're people that don't really know what they're doing, and they're teaching it anyway. Anytime I'm here with Nick and Tom, or because I sneak on this call a lot. I don't know if you guys catch me popping in every so often. No matter where I'm at, you guys, I will sneak into the Friday call one way or another for at least a few minutes. It's like kind of something that grounds me at the end of the week. So, as I was learning, I learned a lot of the wrong things. And I realized that there was really two things that were going to hold me back if I wanted to scale. The first thing is I realized there was no way I could take on customers and be this person that was like a member of their staff all the time. Like that's what my agency was at the beginning. People would hire me, and it was almost like I worked just for them. And it was just like this spinning plates. I was always having to learn stuff, like new stuff, and there was no scalability to it. And so I had, I was like, I got to do something that when I'm delivering services is valuable to people, helps them to grow, but also it's something that like, it's so systematized that I could build it into a software, or I could teach other people to do every step of it, and the quality doesn't go down because I'm not the one delivering it. And I think that's something all of us come to eventually, but like, I'm like, it doesn't matter how good I get at sales someday, I'm not great at that yet and getting new clients, but like, it doesn't matter how good I get at that. If I don't fix this other thing, it's a problem. So I locked into 4 different things, and it was really boring stuff, but it was, stuff that like as internet marketers, we have all had to embrace, which is you got to have a good website that does, that directs traffic for you and gets people where they need to go. You got to have a good social media presence these days because it shows people that you're actually still around. And during the pandemic, that was a huge deal.
It was, man. It is. Yeah. It is. Even more than ever.
Right. Like, if that's not right, people think, well, they must have gone out of business and it's just still here. Because that's a moving thing. Like a website sits there and it does its job, but like your social media is more of a moving, active thing that shows that the blood's pumping, right? Mm-hmm. And then you got to build a list. And so we got into hardcore SMS and email marketing too. And so those are like the 4 services, but we do them in a way that like when we take on a customer, I take about 2 hours to a day of work to onboard a customer, and then everything's programmed the rest of the year. So we get paid monthly for those services, which we call really boring services, but it's things people already know they need. And that became something that was powerful for us because every time I'd bring on a client, I went through an onboarding process, and then it was just every so often, about once a month, we'd call in and check on them, make sure they were good. But there were software and team members running the stuff for us. And you guys know full well like that. You got to have that, right? So that was the first thing. I had to like lock in to be like, yes, I know how to do this, but I'm not going to do this because these are the 4 things that I offer, which is extremely hard when people are trying to throw money your way. But that's where I got to the point where like, and eventually the name came out. Well, these are microservices. These are things that we can really go out there and do, but most of it can be run with software. And even like, especially now, we started this like 5 years ago. Now, what you can do with software versus what we could do with software 5 years ago, it's completely different. The other thing is, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. No, I was just going to say, you're right. It's amazing just how far along even that has advanced, right? Like so much easier today.
Right. But the other thing is like, once you fix that, then you have to look in the mirror and fix the big thing that all of us have to face. Is like, once you understand, I can take on a lot of clients, I can take on a lot of customers because I have the capability now, then you have to look in the mirror and you be like, okay, now what am I actually afraid of? And most of us are afraid of actually going after clients because it's this weird thing that's built into all of us as humans. We have this fear of no. And, even though no is not the end of the world, and those of us that have done this for a long time could care less about the word no anymore. Back then, it was one of those things where I was like, it hurts me when somebody tells me no, or I feel like somebody's blowing me off. So I started to realize that my agency and what I wanted to do with, my growth and my business's growth, it had to be my pitch and reach out to people had to be about something more than me. Otherwise, with my personality, it was going to be hard for me to constantly reach out to businesses. And so we took this tactic of every local market that we go into now, whether it's one right next door to me physically, or if it's across the country, or if it's in another country, every market that we try to move into now, we partner with a charitable organization. And the reason that's been really powerful is, number one, every new client that I meet with is not out of the gate meeting with about me or my service, or even how we can help them. It's how the two of us can help the charitable organization. And as business owners, that puts us in a very interesting place. And by the way, this is all stuff that I realize, this is the week later stuff that people were doing to me when I was in the chiropractic office. I was like, those sons of, wow, that was slick. But I felt good about the whole thing because it was bigger than just me. It was bigger than just the other business. So with every client that we bring on now, it's all about how do we do something together that's going to help this charitable organization, and where does some of the money come from that we use to help this organization? It comes from them paying us for one of the services or all four of the services that we offer. And so the interesting thing happened when we really started to dial this in, 4 or 5 years ago. Not only was it easier to get our foot in the door, not only was it easier to get someone to sign up for one of these 4 microservices, but people never left, because what they started to, I think realize was if they left us, they were also leaving their support of this great organization that was in their community. And so this was a way for them to give back while at the same time getting something that they wouldn't normally get. And that's where kind of like the system that we built from a perspective of the 2 hardest things for most agencies. I know it was me, but for getting new clients to making sure that once you get the client, you have something that's manageable, that can be run with mostly software that they're still happy with because it's high level. That's where it came from. It was us trying to find something that fit me better, so I wasn't so damn awkward. And that's where the microservice stuff came from, and it's served us well. And you know what? It continued to serve us really well during the middle of the pandemic too. We didn't see a lot of drop off. And I think it's because most of the stuff that we sell is what you would call the quote unquote boring stuff, like websites and social media. So,
I actually had a client just drop off yesterday too. And it's so funny how it works, because we also got a client yesterday, right? It's like sometimes it just seems like for every client you get, you lose another one, or they want to lower their ad spend. And oddly enough, this one we were doing running ads for them, and we were doing really well. Like the fact that they wanted to, and they didn't stop completely with us, but they stopped doing ads. They just wanted to keep the SEO. But the fact that they did that, I was just blown away, because we were making them like $10K a month on top of their ad spend and management fee. And I'm just like, it doesn't make any sense to me why you would ever stop that, right? But for them, they're like, well, after you guys started running ads for us, we realized that we should be running ads, and we're going to hire somebody in-house to do it. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Good luck.
No,
right. Yeah. No, right. But yeah, it blows you away.
But it happens.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. So, I do think there's a massive upside to offering things that are not subject to that type of situation, or less subject to that type of situation, and I do think, and because I've seen a lot of the microservice stuff that you do, and I do think that is just such a good sustainable model. It's sustainable, and I think that's important, because who here on the live right now has had a client leave that probably shouldn't have left. Not just from the standpoint of like, obviously they shouldn't have left because we all want to make as much money as we can from, but they shouldn't have left because you were doing good by them. They were getting results. It was a stupid choice that they left. It happens, right? It just does. And it's just by nature of, I don't know. I think when business owners see $2,000 go out of their bank account every month, or $3,000 or $5,000, they cancel it for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what the reason is. It can be anything.
Yeah.
Well, you remember, Nick, that one of those first clients that I had that you were helping me with on the fulfillment, their daughter graduated college with a marketing degree, and they were like, see you later. She's going to do it now. We were like,
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I think that's the other side for us. And this is what's really interesting is we refer a lot out now. Like we sort of have become the first phone call. And it's because, you know, I have these services that are like, well, I need a website. You know, it's like the most boring thing in the world. Like, but you guys have absolutely preached this gospel forever. And I love this
websites.
about you guys. And like I said, I pay so much attention because I'm always here on Fridays. So, and then, like I said, I pay a lot of attention to what you guys do. And the thing is, everybody here, what the Sharks are just preaching to you guys every week is when you get a website client, they're yours, and you become theirs. They really start looking at you as the person that they need to listen to for like all these other decisions, which maybe sometimes you shouldn't be helping them make, but like they really do believe that. And so what we figured out really early on is when I get a social media or a website client, and like I said, all this stuff is pretty much automated after the first week for us with our clients, the way we do it with the microservice model. But when we get those clients, we get a lot of phone calls from those clients be like, hey, do you guys do this too? And, you know, there's been so many opportunities for us to actually bring on somebody into our agency just to do that stuff. I still, most of the time, am sending it to our friends, but it's amazing to me the longevity of, because you guys know me, I'm a big software guy, software as a service guy too. And so I pay attention to that monthly recurring revenue number. And it's amazing to me when you can take someone back when I started, like if somebody stayed with me for, 6 months, I was jazzed. I was like, okay, we're doing good. Let's keep going, but like, we'd have that average. And then now you look up and you're like, they've been with us for 3 years and just keep going. And it's because there's so many things tied to their business that you have locked in now. And it's like, you have their website, you have this, but also you got a charitable organization that when every time you call to check on them, be like, hey, I wanted to let you know some cool stuff the charity's doing right now that you're a part of supporting them. And I know that you're busy, but I check in on that. And I wanted to let you know that this is a part of it. It's real difficult to leave when that's a part of the ongoing conversation and they get to see the good that they're doing. And I think that that's, especially right now, that's so critically important that you give people the opportunity to do that, plus you update them on kind of how things are going. And then by the way, your website's doing good, your social's doing good, and your list building's doing good. And like I said, with the list building too, when we add those things on, it's real hard for them to ignore what's coming into the business every month from what we're doing. So I love it.
The something that really caught my attention too is the charity angle, working with the charity organizations. I think that's so unique, because I've done a little bit of work in that department, but like not in a strategic way, right? Just by I know an organization that I know a nonprofit, and it just so happens it came up in passing that they needed some help. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I could probably, this is something I would, help you out with a little bit. And then almost every single time, like I get I don't expect anything, but so much comes out of it, much comes out of it. How did you kind of land on systemizing it or, and I'm curious what like the original charity was that you started working with, what kind of charity?
This is really funny. When I had the chiropractic office, it was in a certain town in the lower part of Missouri, Poplar Bluff, for anybody that wants to do a little ding there. That's where my office was. And I got to know the Chamber of Commerce director really well, and I got to know some people around the town. So one of the major projects, guys, while I was in that town was I really wanted this town to do some cool stuff to build back up their old downtown into something that was, bringing in businesses. Because when you grow business, the number of businesses in a town, your charitable donations go up, like everything spawns from that, right? So the first organization that like I really started this with is I made a call to this downtown organization. And their whole thing was, not only do we support the downtown and bringing on Missouri in the house, I love it. Not only do we support bringing on, things for downtown, but we also make sure that these charitable organizations are supported too. So I just like called this organization, and the next day, like I was like, I don't know how all this is going to come together, but this is the idea I have. They drove to meet me. I didn't have to go meet them. We didn't do it online. Like, they meet me. They brought the director of the chamber with them, who was on their board. And we sat down, and I just said, I was like, listen, this is what I want to do. I want to sell businesses in your town these services. And I want to make sure that you guys get a piece of the pie when we do that to support your organization. Can I, when I talk to them, mention that you are at my back and you're behind this? And if they call you, you're not gonna be like, Ben who? So like that was the whole thing. And that was the first one. That's the first one. And then I was like, okay, that had to be coincidence because I was in that town for a while, right? It's amazing to me that when you call a charitable organization and you say, we want to give you money for selling websites and selling social media and giving you a piece of it, it's amazing to me how they make time in their day. I don't care where they are, anywhere in the world, they will make time to do a call with you and figure out the logistics. And most of them have to run it by a board. Most of them are like, okay, we can't send clients your way directly. That's like the standard spiel that they'll give you. And I'm like, don't need it. When I go to that meeting, when I talk to somebody, I want, if they check behind my back and with you, that you're like, oh yeah, we know Atkins. And that's it. Like, getting the charitable organizations on board is the easiest thing in the world. And once you do that, like making a phone call to a business, being like, hey, I'm calling because I want to talk to you guys about this charity in your town. It's not about me. It's not about a service. We don't trip those salespeople alarms that all these places have. It's, here's a fellow business owner that wants to talk to me about a charitable organization that we kind of dig. And I know this is what's going on, so I should mention it. The psychology that's going on here is, yes, they want to help, but also they're afraid not to take the call with me. Because if it should get out that they would ignore, that they ignored something that had to do with this great organization, and it took me a while to figure out that was what was going on, but I started to realize a lot of these people all of a sudden are afraid not to take a call with me about my sales pitch that I'm about to make them. And so it really opened up a lot of doors. It took out, a lot of people that have followed me on this online journey that I've had think that I'm not shy, that I am very outgoing. And like, it's real easy when you're behind the camera sitting at a computer at home. But when you get out, we all have some of the same anxieties. I don't care how outgoing we are. I've met, like, I can count on one hand the amount of people that I've met that are just like over the top good at that. But for me, there's always that anxiety. There's always that people will tell me no, they will reject me. So being able to walk into any relationship having something like that at my back, where I know I'm fighting for something that's bigger than me or just this business, that opens the door. So hopefully that's that's where it started. That's where it got to. And hopefully I answered you had a short question. I gave you a long answer. Sorry.
No, it was a good answer, because it really is. It outlines a great way to hack your authority. If you're somebody that doesn't have a massive portfolio, or you're just trying to get started and you're reaching out to businesses and you don't have any credibility, like when you come in from the charitable organization angle, like a partner or on behalf of or working with or whatever it is, it's just so much easier. You have instant authority. And yeah.
Well, and I think that's the thing, is it's you really are. It's no matter if you're brand new or not, people see you like aiming at something that is charitable, that's going to help the community. They're going to give you a little bit of time. And it really, for those of you that aren't good at this stuff, it gives you that confidence to get out there and get started. And for me, and I should probably mention this, for me, all my services are recurring. So it's one of those things where it helps me get that through the door too. Because I think a lot of people, when they first start with their agency, asking for recurring is a lot harder in their head, and I get that. I was there. And this gave me sort of the ability to have one of those things in the back that, when we talk about this inside of Microservice Millionaire, one of those things that made recurring make even more sense to these people. So it's been a really good thing.
It's true, because, even when we like sign up for something and we find out it has like a monthly fee or whatever, we're like, we think about it a little more, right? So, inversely, when you're asking somebody to sign up for something, you immediately tell yourself like, oh, they're not going to want to do this, or they're going to have more, of an objection toward it. But it's not always the case. I've found that, found that out with so many things in life, just in general. Like my mind convinces me that, you know, so many things are the devil, and they actually aren't.
Right. Well, and like I said, it's I think the big thing with anybody that puts together an agency is you got to figure out what you actually want out of it. And for me, I wanted to be able to work from home, work while I traveled because I love to do that. I love to send, as I always say, I love to send Nick and Tom late night food pics from exotic places, as you guys love to do me. It's my favorite thing in the world. I like to be able to work from anywhere. And this gives me sort of that ability because this is not something that I have found I have to be in the town to do. This is something that very much it's a Facebook reach out, the initial reach out to both the charitable organizations and then to the businesses. And it can be a small charitable organization. It doesn't have to be a big one. It just has to be something that's their community, right?
That's a good question, or that brings up a good question. Delroy wanted to know what size, is there a good size of the charity, or how well known do they need to be?
You know, the thing that works the best for me is it doesn't have to be a big charity. I like the ones that are small, like mid-range. Sometimes the ones that are just only in that town are really good. I think the thing that has always been sort of the thing that I aim at the most is do I really believe in this charitable organization? So when I like get on their website and I'm like looking up, okay, here's the charitable organization in this town. Here's the 5 that I might partner with. I want to partner with one. What's the objective here that's big? So guys, just between you and us, I don't think I've ever talked about this online, but like when I was in kindergarten, my mom had cancer. And so like we like moved in with my grandma. My dad was like driving her an hour a day for treatment. And it was like really affecting to me, right? Like it really, I mean, by the time I was old enough to really know the seriousness of it, like we were past it. And she's been cancer-free ever since, thank goodness. But like my entire life, I have never lost track of that little window of my life that was very in flux, right? And so I tend to, when I, just to give everybody here sort of a personal where I go, is I like real big community building organizations, and I like cancer, like small cancer research, like the United Cancer Society is like, you know, or the American Cancer Society is huge. They're great. Anything that you want to do with them would be wonderful. But I tend to go to the ones that are like the small organizations in just about every town that their whole gig is they collect money and then they're taking like Pedialyte and shakes to people that are having a tough time because they're going through chemo. And like, so some of the smaller organizations are amazing because everybody in the town knows them. Everybody in the town supports them. And it's like anything that you're doing to get a part, you know, to help something that they really own, isn't just like this huge thing, but the town feels like they own. It's good. So I've had some bigger ones that have been great. I've had probably more smaller ones that are only that town or city. When I say town, you know, this is my folksiness coming out. That's when, you know, like the smaller ones have done really well for me too. And I think if you aim at any of them, as long as you have a genuine passion behind their cause, it works incredibly well.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, and a lot of the things that you're talking about, I mean, you mentioned microservice millionaires. A lot of the things you're talking about, the strategies you're talking about, you flush out in a lot of detail inside that.
Yeah, it would be, there's too much detail to really go through here. I mean, I feel like we've done a great job in the time we had to really go through that stuff, but like we really get into the specifics inside of this. And honestly, you guys, this is stuff I've kind of been teaching over the years. Like it's familiar to a lot of people that have listened to me once. But over the last couple of years, I've had several of my friends be like, dude, I'm done with my job. Like and they've got a really high paying job, right? And they're just like, I'm finished. It's not worth it. This has really proven to me that I'm going to do my own thing. I can do my own thing. I like what I see when I hang out with you. I like the chill out. Like you don't seem too bothered. Like you seem to have a decent life. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like I do.
Yeah.
And what do you do? Like, what do you do? And if I do it too, is that competing with you? And I'm like, dude, you're not competing with me at all. Like, you know, I have a whole crew of people I hang out with that we all quote unquote compete with each other. We never run into each other. And so they were like, what are you doing? And so I started kind of having these conversations and I was like, just put a course together. You're halfway decent at that. Put a course together for people. So microservice millionaire, what you guys have been talking about in your email all week. This is what I put together for my friends. This was, you know, it started out as something very personal to me of people that were like that I hang out with on the weekends that were like,
Nice.
we're done. We are 6 months out from leaving forever. Can you show us what we're doing? And so I put this together as sort of one of those things that when someone actually has this conversation, sure, we'll talk about it, but I'm like, go watch this. And so very detailed, very much gives the story inside of there.
Tom,
Yeah,
I
and
think that's our cue, man. Do you have our bonus page pulled up real quick?
I was gonna pop the link up here because I was gonna say right now too, you have it on it's really super inexpensive. And if you guys want to check it out, scrolling at the bottom of your screen, you can go to offlinesharks.com MSM. And as Nick mentioned, here, I will pull it up. I didn't have our page pulled up, but I will pull it up to show them. We wanted to kind of chum the waters, we like to call it, throw some things in there. So we did put together a really good bonus package for anyone who picks this up through our link. So I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to share this real quick. Here we go. Oh man, look at that good-looking guy.
Look at him.
There he is.
That is a familiar background. So anyway, when you go to that link, you're going to end up on this page. And here's just a few of the things we're throwing in when you pick up Microservice Millionaire through our link. We give you a training on how to position yourself as an expert. We've got a training on best practices for onboarding clients. How to get paid for sales calls. This is a really interesting one. This is a call that Nick did where he got paid to actually do the sales call because of the value he brought on that call. So we show you that. And then we have a text message swipe file that you guys can use. So you get all of that stuff. It's delivered instantly. All you have to do is click the big, what color is this button? The big green button down here at the bottom and pick up Microservice Millionaire through our link. You'll get all that as well. So it's an awesome bonus package. It's an awesome product, Ben. Like, it's something that we're super proud and excited about promoting because I know you call them boring, but like, I think that boring stuff, that mundane stuff, that's the money makers. Like, that's what brings in the money, you know?
It is. And, you know, I think I'm like a lot of people because I'm such a nerd for this stuff, just like you guys. Like, I love following the latest shiny thing, the latest tech. You know, but to me, it all comes back to how can you more efficiently do the boring stuff? And that's it. Like what it used to take for me to build a website was insane. What I can do now in 10 minutes is pretty powerful. And so, you know, everything inside of this is showing from top to bottom. How do we find potential clients? How do we sell them? How do we bring charitable organizations in here to sort of ease and lubricate that process? And then how do we actually deliver this stuff to where 95% of it is software based and they just pay us not to shut it off like a utility. And
I love that.
That's what it's all about. So
those are some of the best services to offer there. Yeah.
So,
you know, there are a couple of questions that, you know, I know we got a couple minutes left. I want to try to run through these real quick just to make sure everybody gets an answer. So Bruce is asking, and he already picked it up, by the way, but he's asking, do you base your pricing off of a percentage? I think that's what he was asking.
I bet he's asking like the charitable organization stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha.
We'll do like a small percentage because it's monthly and we stack clients pretty quickly. So it doesn't take a lot of clients to really be a significant impact for the charitable organization. And Bruce, when you put that percentage together, and it could be 10%, you know, it could be, you know, something real small. It could be more than that. But the idea is like every charitable organization will give you, hey, we'd love the donation to be every month or every 3 months or every 6 months. They'll tell you. And it's just really making it easy on the charitable organization to say yes. And then literally it's just once you have one in that community, you just go to all these businesses and you become a representative for yourself and the charity. So hopefully that makes sense, buddy.
Tom, what time does our bonus package close? Jacqueline's
I think it's midnight.
Midnight Eastern. Yes. Midnight Eastern. Nick time. So
yeah. Yeah. So if you you know, you want our bonus package, you want the special pricing that Ben has it available at right now. It's on a launch pricing, right? You want to go check it out probably today after the stream. Probably a good time. James said that he picked it up.
Awesome.
Let's see. There was another question from Jacqueline who said, if a client already has a good website and decent social media, would you still be open to me onboarding them to the 2 services you offer?
Yeah, this is the thing that I love. I tell people, don't ever get intimidated by an existing website or an existing social media page that you think is good, because most of the time it's them doing it and they need help. So I always ask, even if, but if they've already got that going, just be like, well, I got this other cool thing that I'd like to show you. And let me show you what it does. And you guys know this, it's usually a 5-minute demo of you showing them a magic trick with like, this is what you could do with a list. And it doesn't take long for them to be like, oh, okay, nice. So yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. Well, yeah, Tom, what do you think? Should we, we're at the top of the hour here. Should we do our...
Yeah, we need to give away some Cash App money. Again, head over to offlinesharks.com, MSM, grab our bonuses, grab Microservices Millionaire. You guys are going to love it. It's a great course, tons of great stuff in there. And you can make some money with it, right? Like, and that's really the important part. Now, we said at the beginning, we made a Shark shout out post. And right now we want to...
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling. Got the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
Lots of good feedback coming in about your course, Ben.
Good. I'm glad people are enjoying it. That's my favorite thing every week, boys. It's my favorite thing. Anyway.
So we have 2 people that were picked that went ahead and congratulated our shout outs of the week. And so we want to give them some Cash App money. And those 2 people are Michael Howard and Rudolph Soto III. So congratulations. Thank you for helping motivate everybody that's taking action in our group. Hopefully we can see you both on that list sometime soon as well. For anybody that is in our community, a lot of you are here. Some of you may be watching from YouTube, but don't forget to, share with us what you're doing. Even if it's a question, even if it's not a win, even if you lose a client or they leave or they cancel, like, talk about it. It's like a support group. This is a business support group for digital marketing. That was a problem for us, right? You need to have somewhere to go to get help if you need it. And that's what this community is all about. And so, yeah, make sure to do that. And congratulations to our winners.
Yeah, congratulations to the winners. Ben, thanks again so much for coming on and hanging out with us. I know it's been a crazy week. Launching is always nutty. So, try to take a little time for yourself.
Slept like a baby every night. There's been zero stress.
Right.
Everything's fine. All worth it. All worth it.
Dorn says we're a drinking group with a marketing problem. That's pretty funny.
I love that so much.
That's great. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks again for hanging out with us today. We hope you enjoyed this edition of the Aloha Friday Marketing Jam session. We're going to be back here next Friday, same Shark time, same Shark channel. Hope to see you then. Until then, make sure to check out Microservice Millionaire, offlinesharks.com, MSM. Thanks again, Ben. Stay safe out there, everybody.
See you,
Practice Aloha.
You've been listening to the Sharks Live Show, your weekly marketing jam session. Always bringing you the latest strategies and tactics to build your remote business from anywhere in the world. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stream. You can stay up to date throughout the week with Nick's YouTube videos at nickponte.com/YouTube and Tom's podcast at tomgaddis.com. We'll be back here next Friday for another Sharks Live Show. Until then, aloha.